answer questions.
Question answer time. Well, that's not how we should start it. Are we supposed to say something?
I had a big bowl of pasta. I'm tired.
All right. Question number 1. Faith Loft. Oh, what is it? Lofts. I don't want to ruin your last name. So Faith.
Let's start up.
All right. This question is from Faith.
Okay.
Have either of you gone somewhere or someplace that has truly frightened you?
Yes. I'm trying to remember out of all the locations wow, that just twisted me up. I think it's about energy at certain locations, but there is a lot of locations I've been to that has a very sinister past, you know, from executions to the people that were murdered there or that were brought there imprisoned, stuff like that. I feel like the energy sometimes that's very negative can make me really nervous. But there's not a place I wouldn't go into or never go back or anything like that. I think there's places that just intrigue me, but make me nervous.
I actually think that my childhood home, like if I want to talk about something that actually scared me, the 3rd floor at my childhood home that my mom and I went back to years later after we moved out. My parents got a new house. My grandparents passed away, so we had to sell the property and we went back there. The 3rd floor was really uneasy and we got a crazy EVP there. My mom and I, both being mediums, always picked up on something very negative, so we really stayed away from the 3rd floor. And I think that was the only time I was ever like nervous or scared because something was lurking up there.
All right, let's see what's next.
I was still reading. Okay, How about this one? Susie Harlinsky wanted to know, do either or both of you believe in astral travel?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely dream state, you know. I think some people leave their bodies, come back. I've talked to a lot of people who've had that experience. And I feel like I do too, you know.
Wait a minute. Like, I just thought of this. Like, you would be away, but yet we would see each other in dreams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh,
that's
tons of times.
Astral travel.
It is.
Right?
Yeah. And then when I'm home, we like to astral travel to each other. Who makes up these words?
Could you imagine?
That's what I want to know.
Somebody walked in and we were just floating in bed.
Yeah. Who makes up these words?
I don't know.
They're hilarious.
Astral travel.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast. Woo! Oh, we're back again. Hello there.
All right, ready? Yep. I think her name is Marianne or Marianne.
Okay.
Luoma. I'm horrible with names. I shouldn't even try this. Okay. All right, so will you let your kids investigate with you or even go to these scary places with you?
They do. I mean, it's funny because our kids run around the house sometimes with like pretend paranormal equipment, or they had their cell phones and they downloaded that app, right? They were looking for ghosts.
Yeah, like they will get together in a group and become the Ghostbusters, and they have like apps on the phones that they're looking for ghosts, and like Annabelle's usually in charge of everybody, so she'll be, you know, with her phone looking for ghosts, and then.
They would get scared and they're like, there's something in the corner over there. You know,
we'll be someplace else and they'll come running and be like, there's a ghost downstairs. And
I'll walk in, I'll just airbox it.
But as far as locations, I would definitely let the kids come with us. You know, if they were interested, that's the thing. I think the biggest thing is if they're interested in it, they want to know about it. You know, like your oldest, Annabelle, my oldest, Jean.
Loves it. Yeah.
They're both intuitive. They both see and feel spirit. So they're already like a step ahead. And then if they were interested in these locations, I would let them come.
Yeah, as long as they're not dirty and, you know, the
environments
are pretty bad sometimes. So I won't let them in like bad environments. But
to add to that, I mean, we're very good with like educating them on how to block themselves and how to protect themselves. And with them being intuitive, and like I never had that as a kid growing up. I didn't know how to block things out or protect myself, but we're very big on teaching them.
Yep.
So I think they'd be fine. If anything, I think they want to go more so than...
Yeah,
they're more anxious to be places than we are sometimes. We just want to go to sleep.
Yeah, that will never happen. All right, we're back. Let's ask another question.
We're back every single time.
I know. Guess who's back? Back again. Tessa's back. Sorry, go ahead.
This is from Leslie.
All right, what's up, Leslie?
And she wants to know, how do you both relax after a stressful reading or hunt? And is there any place you would love to go or a place that you wouldn't visit?
What about you?
how do I relax? Or,
Yeah.
well, as a medium, I think I'm always doing some grounding exercises, but it happens just naturally with me now. So like as far as readings go, I don't take on all that energy to an extent because I block myself and I've developed it in such a way that I don't. And then there's some readings that really get to me, things that involve children and tragic events, and whether it be like a criminal investigation, those things you take on pretty heavily. So I do a lot of grounding exercises, and you guys could look that up on YouTube for those of you who were wondering. You could find a grounding exercise where you get rid of the energy that you take on. I don't know. What do you do?
I watch movies.
You take a shower.
I do actually. I'll take a shower if I've been in like a decrepit location. I'm finally like back home. I'll take a shower forever. Mm-hmm. And it's a good way to like bring your focus back to your own energy and get rid of all that like gross energy or whatever. And especially it gets you clean, as far as disgusting environments. I actually go to the gym a lot. I go to the gym. I kind of get into my own world, my music, and I really like to keep that balance of healthy, fit, and combat it with when I'm being worn down physically and mentally at these locations.
That's something that you and I both
really we need that. We need that bad.
Working out, or for me, it was always dance and aerial arts and things like that.
Yeah, that's a big part of our life. I think it's just, what works for everybody that can relax and you really need to have a balance in life, because if you're going to a lot of like either negative locations or locations that draw your energy, you need to have that other opposite part of your life where you can put that energy back into your body and feeling good, Health is a big part of paranormal investigating, honestly, because it can be a wear and tear on your body big time.
Yeah.
A lot of energy can be resorted. So that's what we do. Watch movies too.
Oh, wait, there was a second part to this.
Yeah.
Was there any place we would love to go or a place that we wouldn't go to?
Yes, I want to go to a tropical island where it's sunny and the ocean is beautiful. We are warm. Going there. I would love, that's where we would love to go.
But I think it would be cool, like on those islands and stuff, to do some sort of investigating or...
Like roll around on the sand together?
Yes.
Censored.
All right. This is from Larry. He said, "Hi, Tess and Nick. You say that our loved ones stay with us and are around us. So do they help us through this life?" I personally believe so, based on my experience as a medium and the just doing readings and experience it throughout my life. For me personally, like, I do readings for tons of different people and I give them messages, very validating things. But if you look at myself personally, I lost somebody very close to me, my grandmother. And ever since she's passed, she has made herself very known, especially in those times that I needed her most. For me, she communicates a lot through dreams. But then, I also get signs like 412, which we'll have to talk about eventually. Yeah. But, she'll send me signs and kind of lead me if I'm wondering, which way do I go? What decision do I need to make? I'll get signs from her to lead me in a certain direction. Sometimes they work physically as well. So you might find objects around from them. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think they come and go. Spiritual energy, I think it's always with you as a consciousness, and you're energetically connected in that sense. My grandfather would do it a lot to me. And I just think sometimes they're guiding you on a different plane, and I think we're all on our specific journey and we have to make choices in life, and that's just how it goes in the reality of things. But I think there is guidance. I think there is help from above, from different energies that loved ones have passed on, or overlooking your kind of past. So I do agree.
Okay, this one comes from Sabrina. I'm kind of rewording her question, so I hope you don't mind, Sabrina, but your question had to do with people who were murdered, and if the person who was murdered on the other side is able to help figure out who their murderer was here in the physical world, or help to solve the case. So I hope you don't mind. I kind of reworded it so it's easier to understand. But I liked this question because I've worked on multiple criminal cases that involved missing persons, homicides, things like that. And so to answer your question, I would say yes, from experience. The person who's departed, from whatever tragic event took place will normally come through to me. And, there's a couple different things that I pick up on. One of them would be the individual who was killed. and they will actually lead me to figure certain pieces out to help solve their case. The other thing would be like residual things that took place there, so I could see events that played out very much like a movie. And so both of those things help on cases of that nature to solve and figure out who could have done it.
Reminds me of that movie, The Lovely Bones.
Ooh,
Remember
yeah.
that movie?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of like the girl who was kidnapped, passed away, murdered, and she was giving hints from the other side how to direct people to solve
Didn't we just watch
who
another
this
one
killer
like
is.
that?
We did, yeah, a while ago. I forget the
I
name
don't
of it
remember what
though.
it was. So yes, they could come over from the other side and help. All right, this is from Jen, and she said, when you have an EVP and a spirit saying that they hate you or want to kill you, when the time comes and you pass away, how would you protect yourself after your death?
Wow, that's dark, Jen.
It is.
But it's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
When you capture an electronic voice phenomenon on a digital recorder, I feel sometimes it's specifically at the location that you're at. So, for instance, if I'm in the Washoe Club in Virginia City, Nevada, and which I've had this happen, and I hear a voice come through on the recorder on playback and says, "I hate you," or "I want to kill you," or whatever the heck the stuff comes through says. And I think that honestly, it's almost like walking into someone's home and being a stranger and just kind of invading their space. I mean, if someone came into my house, I'd be like, I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean? You protect or you'd be lashing out. But I think it stays at those locations sometimes.
I also think that that would be more along the lines of an intelligent spirit interacting.
Mhm.
And I think you got to take into consideration residual energy or events that took place there. So if, there's intelligent spirits and then there's residual energy where residual is like a tape recorder playing over and over and over in a location. It could be tragic events that took place. So if you're getting EVPs that say that, it could very well be something that was said years prior, and you're just picking up on the energy of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think moving out of this body into the afterlife, wherever you go, I think just keeping that positive mentality and energy as you move to the other side is where I would put my mindset and not think heavily on that stuff being captured in reality in the world we're living in.
All right, this comes from Rebecca Adams. What location or reading actually made your hair stand up?
I think for me, it's been a long time, but 2009, Linda Vista Hospital in East LA, I saw this lady spirit staying 2 feet in front of my face. Saw her hospital gown. It was so clear that, you know, just thinking back on everything that occurred from then until now and going to the coroner's office, talking to the coroner, talking about Jane and John Doe's, learning the history of the location. It's always bothered me not knowing exactly who this person was when they were alive and what actually happened to them when they died. So one day I want to go back to the Linda Vista Hospital and try to make further contact with new technology or just have that experience again and hopefully not jump away this time. But when you're in the dark and you turn around, somebody is right there and it's surreal. I mean, you're going to jump. So I'm hoping one day I can kind of pick up the pieces where I left off and really try to figure out who this lady is and if she's okay on the other side or if she can move on.
I think a lot of locations make my hair stand up. I get a little bit more skittish than you do. But I think as far as readings go, I think I always resort back to like the first reading I did publicly with somebody. And it had to do with a woman unfortunately lost her son. And, they had thought, and what was written on the death certificate was a suicide. However, when he came through, he validated what his mom had originally thought, which would be that it was not a suicide, it was accidental. And he validated that very, very vividly for her. And I just remember piecing it together, and I would see play by play of what happened. So, taking that on and seeing these tragic events taking place, it was scary to me because, it was the first time I did it publicly too. I was young, and you're not as confident when you're young and you're doing these things. It takes years and years and just tons of work to build that confidence. But I think that was like my turning point where I realized, I could really help somebody with the ability, number one. And number two, it really woke me up to the things you can see, and the nature of certain readings and stuff can get very, very heavy. So.
And that's that. Thank you for writing and asking us questions.
We gotta do it again.
And yeah, a lot more stuff. I think that's the point of all this, you know. Life, it has so many things to experience. We live in a vast universe. There's so many weird possibilities that we can't totally comprehend. There's some logic to it, there's some science, and then there's the mystery of everything else beyond. And I think that's what we really enjoy, is just getting outside the box, answering some of these questions. And a lot of your questions are great because it helps me think a little bit further of, whoa, I didn't think about that, or I didn't think about it this way.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know, we've lived a little bit longer to say, wow, we had that experience, and we can kind of relate to whatever your questions are. So thank you for sending them in, and we'll definitely do this again.
Yeah. Thank you.
See ya.